Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In this video I will show you two people. One of them is Arnold Schwarzenegger, the actor and former governor of California. And the other one is the Jewish host from CNN, Jake Tapper, or Tapeworm as Mark Dice calls him. And what's going on here? Well, both of them are playing the same game, which is Schwarzenegger wants to be relevant again, and Tapeworm is doing what he does best, being a media operative, working for others, not for the truth, or at least for journalistic integrity. So what happened? There was an interview between Jake Tapper and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And to note is that Mr. Schwarzenegger is very respected as a Republican in the Democrat circles because he's saying what he's supposed to. He's respected as former governor, whereas Donald Trump, remember when he had the affairs, and one of them was with Stormy Daniels, the porn star, the adult artist, adult movie artist. He was called depraved and degenerate. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, who fathered a son with his nanny, one of his other son's nanny, he's the former governor. Why? Because he says the right thing. Now, if you're a moral person, you tell both of them, well, you cheat on your wife, so did you, so what? All right? And I'm going to use Jesus Christ's advice or dare, which is whomever of you or whichever has no sins should cast or throw the first stone at the whore Maria Magdalena. And supposedly they all had conscience and they dropped the rocks to kill Maria Magdalena based on the law, law, okay? So let me show you how these guys portray the interaction between the two, I don't even know how to call them, and how I would respond if would be a journalist calling out my father for his intransigencies. All right, let's start with the article. Daily Beast. The former California governor, right? Very respected introduction. A fact, but he's telling what he needs to do. Didn't hold back when confronted with his father's Nazi history. So what happened was Mr. Tapeworm, this guy, attacked or confronted the son of someone who did something in the past. And the son, as a piece of shit that he is, instead of saying and telling the Jewish host from CNN, Jake Tapper, shut the fuck up, don't talk about my father, he is throwing shit on everything that is related to what his fathers did in that organization. Therefore, taking a shit on his father's memory. Good son, I guess. So, let's see how these guys portray the interaction. I would like you to read the title nicely here. So, didn't hold back, Schwarzenegger, when confronted with his father's Nazi history. First, fuck off, he's dead, and I'm not going to discuss this with you. You're an imbecile. You're a jackal. You're a media operative. You're an alien. You don't work for us. So this would be my answer. But he was confronted. What do you mean confronted? Schwarzenegger is like 78 or something. His father is long gone and dead. And that guy asks Schwarzenegger about his father's Nazi history? Why? Well, you know why. Because Schwarzenegger takes a shit on camera on his father for what his father did. So the son judges his father because Tapper, the host from CNN, wants him to do. And Schwarzenegger had no problem doing that. Would you do that? I will tell you my personal experience. But hey, let's read how these guys are, how should I put it, portraying this experience or interaction. Arnold Schwarzenegger delivered a forceful message to Nazi ideologues after he was confronted. What do you mean confront? On CNN on Saturday about his own family ties to Hitler's regime. So, they're dead. You have anything to ask me about me? The 78-year-old former California governor, whose father was a member of the Nazi Party, reflected on his family history during State of the Union. Host Jake Tapper raised the Schwarzenegger's family past while discussing recent controversies involving Nazi symbols and rhetoric. Like Schwarzenegger is an expert because his father was what? A Nazi Party member. So that means he needs to be, listened to. All right, including Senate hopeful Graham Planter's tattoo of a Nazi symbol, Trump aide Paul's Iglesias pro-Nazi text, and the leaked Young Republicans group chat. And Schwarzenegger is going to walk the shame road, or how you want to call it, which he doesn't give a shit. I think he's a mercenary, Schwarzenegger. Whatever helps him, he's going to take a shit on whatever. I don't think Schwarzenegger has anything, my opinion as a free individual, is that he doesn't give a shit about anybody and anything except himself. Now, let me show you Jake Tapper, tapeworm. Jakob Paul Tapper, okay, American, he's an American journalist. Early life and education, and we find down here his parents are Jewish. Got it? So, his parents are Jewish, and he is asking a Christian about his father's past in the Nazi Party linked to the Holocaust, therefore needs to be shamed. I already told you how I will have responded to that guy. None of your business. Next question. I'm not going to take a shit on my father for you and your masters or tribe. So, let me tell you my experience in the past. As a child, I was taught by my parents first and then by school in communist Romania to tell the truth and be on the side of the truth regardless what the consequences are. You have to pay for your mistakes. Accountability. And regardless who is to be hanged or who is to be reported to police and incarcerated, including your parents, because truth is more important than your subjective, beautiful feelings about your parents. That's how we were taught. And I applied this, or I upheld this notion of absolute integrity to a certain extent. When I realized I was confronted by someone who really wanted me to take a shit on my family or on my parents and I said, why should I do this? It is true. It is true that this person is right. He's right. My father made a mistake, let's say. I can't remember exactly the context. My father made a mistake. Why should I agree with this to a stranger who is going to use it to hurt my family and he has no value? Is indeed, as an integrity, or how should I put it, a person who has values and norms and respects himself should be absolute in this. Yes, my father made a mistake, go in him, right? And I decided no. There are certain things that are off limit because I don't know who you are. Why would I care about you more than that person? Because of the truth? That person has no good intentions. The same as Jake Tapper. He didn't have any good intentions, like he was going to uphold the truth and, integrity. No, he was over there to shame Schwarzenegger, an ideology, linking Schwarzenegger, like he became an expert because his father was a member of a group somehow. It's like, let's say my father is an engineer, and let's say I'm an English teacher. And somehow, because my father is an engineer, I'm an expert in engineering, according to Tapper. Remember, in the Old Testament, the Jewish Torah, they have collective punishment. That is, If your father made a mistake, a crime, that applies to the son and to the son of the son and so on. We don't have this in our civilization. In their little culture, whatever you want to call it, they have it towards us, not among them. Very important. So I don't subscribe to this kind of shaming tactics, but Schwarzenegger had no problem in, I don't know, desecrating his father's memory. He should have said, I love my father, who the fuck are you? And I love truth, but I don't want to be with you. Simply. There were many, for instance, a video with, what's his name, Tarantino, that movie director, I don't like, just so you know, with his Kill Bill and other movies that he made, and Pulp Fiction, and everything is hailed about fantastic. I never saw the guy or his movies as anything extraordinary, just so you know. And you can look for Tarantino as well. And Mr. Tarantino, yeah, sounds Italian and all that. Mr. Tarantino was in an interview with a guy, and the guy asked him a question, and Tarantino very well said, I'm not going to say it. Where do you want me to say it? I'm not going to say it in your show. I don't want to say it for you. That's it. I'm not going to say it. And then he was right. He said, I'm not going to be a monkey. You can still find it on YouTube. And I liked his answer. I don't like the guy at all, but or his movies or the way of directing, but I liked his answer. And I learned, he said, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to. I don't want to say it on your show. Simply. The same here. I'm not going to take a shit on my family on your show, the taper from CNN. That's it. But Schwarzenegger has no backbone, it seems like. But that's him, and I felt like I have to make this video. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.